The Tudor Ranger is two things. Number one, it's an excellent watch. Number two, it's stupidly priced. Yes, a watch can be good and overpriced at the same time. Averaging $3,000 to $4,000 for what is ultimately the most bare-boned tool watch in existence, even its charismatic charm can't hide the fact that there's a certain amount of Kool-Aid you gotta drink to buy into all of this bullshit. And that's fine. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just important to be self-aware enough to know how deep in the rabbit hole you are, or else you'll end up laughing at a clown without realizing you're actually just looking at a mirror. Enter the Vostok 92175B and 72045A. Are they the same as a Ranger? No, of course not. However, these watches capture the same bare-boned essence of a tool watch as the Ranger. And at $150 and $180 respectively, they're more in line with the sensibilities of the type of man looking for a tool watch. I'm not saying they're better, but they're certainly not worse, especially when considering how watches were truly meant to be used. The 92175 is about as straightforward as a watch you can get. There are no unique design cues or style accents. It's just a circle and a dial. If you asked a computer to generate an image of a generic wristwatch, this is probably what it would create. There's something appealing about that. I can see this on the wrist of someone who couldn't give two shits about a watch, and I don't know, it just makes me like it even more. It's weird, I get it. I can't really explain it other than that. The finishing is mirror polished, which isn't ideal, so I went ahead and removed it. But in its original form, there's an elegant simplicity perfect for the daily grind. I was surprised to find an automatic movement inside. With these standard issue Komandirskies, there's usually a hand-winding mechanical movement. Either way, I would have been happy. These movements are fun to work with. Really, everything about it is fun to work with. From messing around with the finishing, changing the strap, removing the case back, and to buffing and polishing the acrylic crystal, this is a watch that gives me a lot of autonomy to do whatever the fuck it is I want to do with it. To that end, it fits in with my horological lifestyle and the direction my priorities are heading. Sure, you could do that with luxury watches, but you're not gonna. You and I both know damn well that ain't happening. The 72045 is a beaut. The 3, 6, 9, and 12 dial is the quintessential gotta field adventure style, if not for anything other than fantasy cosplay, and that's just fine. For the same reason I'm obsessed with the 18021, I am all about this version too. While the liberal pussies of the mainstream watch media may have their thoughts on Vostok, you simply cannot discount their ability to make an exceptionally good-looking watch. Through brushed steel and a classic design, the 72045 perfectly embodies the essence of Soviet conviction and an aversion to opulent decadence. Yet despite all of that, it still glistens and gleams in a way that runs circles around your typical $1,000 Swiss watch. It doesn't do so in a decorative way, more like how your childhood pocket knife did. And that's what makes it so endearing. Much like the Casio F91, it's a style that transcends castes, class, and generations. Unlike the 92175, this one has a standard hand-winding mechanical movement. This makes it truly a daily watch, and by that I mean it requires attention daily. Is that a bad thing? Maybe. I don't think so. I guess it all depends on how you're approaching this thing. Personally, I greatly enjoy the ritual of resetting the time and topping off the mainspring. As unnecessary as it is to have a mechanical wristwatch, I can't think of a more direct way to incorporate this hobby into my real life. Plus, even on a symbolic level, this ritual acts as a daily promise that I'm gonna be on time and honor the commitments I've agreed to. It's a small, simple, but powerful action. Or maybe I'm just trying to make up a bullshit reason to still use antiquated technology. Who knows? Who cares? I enjoy it, that's all that matters. What the Ranger is really selling you isn't steel, specs, or even build quality. It's selling you a fantasy. A fantasy to feel like you're wearing something purposeful. A fantasy to believe your watch could survive an expedition you'll never take. A fantasy to buy into a lineage that whispers heritage every time you glance at your wrist. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Heritage is intoxicating. Branding works because it works. Tudor knows exactly what it's doing, and they do it well. But if you strip the Ranger down to its bones, you're left with a time-only field watch used mostly as wrist candy to prove that you aren't a Rolex fanboy. The 92-175 and 72-045 don't sell a fantasy. They don't pretend to be refined. And they don't exist for hype or flex culture. They exist because someone needed a watch that worked. Full stop. Stamped cases, utilitarian designs, and no marketing gimmicks. Just legibility, durability, and that unmistakable Eastern Bloc indifference to aesthetics beyond function. And that indifference is exactly the point. A real tool watch shouldn't feel precious. You shouldn't hesitate to ding it. You shouldn't justify it to yourself every time it takes a scratch. At $150 to $180, these Vostoks invite use. Abuse even. They align with the original philosophy that watches like the Ranger claimed to represent, before the price tags got bigger than the purpose. So no, they aren't the same watch. But if what you actually want is the spirit of a no-nonsense field watch, one that doesn't require a credit check or brand allegiance oath, the Vostoks might be the more honest choice. And honesty, in this hobby, is priceless. That is all. Stay classy. I sure as hell won't.